John Ordano here with you right around Australia. An auspicious moment, I've got to say, in our program because we've been running the...
I've been fine?
No.
I've been fine?
Let's just give it a second. Over the last month, we've been running the You're the Voice survey, which is basically trying to tap into the psyche of our listeners to find out what really makes them tick and what they want out of politicians and politics.
The average Australian.
Their answers came through loud and clear, and one of the biggest ones was the fact that they really want to emphasise people getting together over the family dinner table and having a meal together.
Or lunch table. So we thought maybe as our friend in Parliament, a person that we've known since he was knee-high to 12
Well, he's never been knee-high to any of us.
From the early days of Midnight Oil when we were working for a government radio station.
And now the Minister for Environment, Protection, Heritage and the Arts, also the member for Kingsford, Mr. Peter Garett.
Boys, I think it's a great idea.
Thank you very much. That's it. And
we're fully committed to making sure it happens.
Yeah, I mean, it is basically, we all remember having a sit down with our mothers and fathers, and especially my dad was like, turn off the TV and mealtime's mealtime. And it seems that one of the things we found out in the You're the Voice survey is that people do want to do it, but these days it's harder and harder to get together as a parent or a family and get together with your kids. And you've got those two Amazon daughters. Three!
Yeah.
My goodness, it has been a while.
And the family meal still goes on at your place, even though you're pretty flat out most of the time.
Yeah, look, it does. We really love to have something on either a Friday or a Saturday night before the kids go out, maybe.
Yeah.
And I reckon it is a really, really good idea. One of the interesting things for me is that the faster things go, the more you need to slow down.
Yeah.
You know, it's really the case. And after doing 27 or 28 years on the road, when I finally did get back home, it was a huge pleasure just to...
That's when you were doing the interstate truck driving.
With the Midnight Oil Freight
with
Company.
the snores in the back. Are we there yet?
Why in Australia do we find it so hard to actually sit down and have a chat with our family?
TV. Yeah,
that's a big one.
TV and mobiles and all that stuff, I think, is a distraction. I also think the fact is that we've been working pretty long hours, and that's been increasing over time. I also think the other thing is that we tend to think that with family, they're just there, and you can sometimes take it a little bit for granted. I read this fantastic thing in Time magazine years ago about really successful business people, and when they were asked what do they most regret, none of them said doing better in business. They all said didn't spend enough time with my family.
Yeah, which is a terrible thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's too late to kind of...
you can't get that back,
fix it
can
up.
you? It's official time now, Pete. We've got to actually hand you over officially our survey.
This is Bring Back the Schnitzel.
And I'm really, really, really happy to accept it.
This has been filled out by the people of Australia who listen to the John Ordano Show. And I just think there's a few interesting points you might be able to hand on to your department, but also if you could hand it to Julia Gillard.
Thanks, guys. We'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
Listen, I've got to say, Minister Peter, it's a pleasure having you in here. Thank you so much for coming in here and helping us launch the campaign.
Peter Garett, thank you so much for
helping
us bring back the schnitz. And if you have got time to read some of that and pass it on to Julia, we're going to send one to Bob Brown and also to
Tony
Peter
Rabbit.
Oh, yeah, Peter Rabbit.
Mr. Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit. Please don't quote me. Thank you.
See you guys. Thanks for having us.